Hello everyone and welcome to my video on how I became an Audi employee with epilepsy and cerebral palsy. My name is Sasha and I've worked for Audi for 3 years now. This is my story about how I got started in the automotive industry and where I am now and the process I went through. What brought me into the car industry was my passion for cars. This started when I was about 12 years old. My family have been car people for a long time. I got into the cars that my family drove. As I got older, I started seeing the YouTube channels from the UK, mainly centered around the supercars. A lot of these videos brought the passion for supercars and cars in general, which I've always loved. Another thing that brought me into the car industry was wanting to learn how to sell. Learning how to sell was one of the key principles taught to me by my business studies teacher in year 10, and that was one of the things I was looking to do post high school. I wasn't really much into uni, so I thought if I could learn how to sell one product and learn how to sell in general, then I could sell anything. And cars just happened to be something I was passionate about and how I could get started. I left school after having brain surgery and didn't graduate with an ATAR or a HSC of any description. I went to my parents and asked, look, maybe I would like to do some work experience at this particular dealership one day. One thing led to another, and I ended up getting a yard hand role at this particular dealership. The career path at Audi started from there. As a yard hand, I was taking care of the day-to-day back of house operations, such as cleaning the cars, making sure that the showroom was nice and presentable for the customers, and supporting the salespeople while they were selling the cars. Due to my cerebral palsy and epilepsy, I couldn't drive the cars. So that meant that my manager had to adjust the role and make it accommodating to my certain needs. Did a great job in allowing that flexibility, and we started by doing the back of house and cleaning cars and keeping the showroom nice and tidy, but I knew that there was going to be some sort of progression later on. When it came to the hours and the working hours, my cerebral palsy and my epilepsy meant that I wasn't able to work full-time right from the get-go. I started by doing 2 half days a week, which was for the first couple of months. Then that progressed to 2 full days a week, and then eventually to a 4-day work week. The challenges I faced have mainly been around driving the cars. I've got license conditions on my license that say, look, you can't drive this type of vehicle, you can only drive this type of vehicle. Management understood this and they said, right, we just need to figure out how we're going to do that as a business. Another one of the challenges I faced was the fatigue. When it came to the employment hours, as I mentioned earlier, they managed to accommodate by doing shorter days at the beginning and then progressing to the 4-day work week, which I'm currently doing and doing quite well. The coping mechanisms I had with my cerebral palsy and epilepsy were quite good. They have understood how my CP and my epilepsy affect me, and they're very accommodating in the way of explaining things a little bit more slowly, allowing me to take shorter work breaks throughout the day, and other systems that we have in place. More crucially, recently I've had a strip of medication at my desk just in case I forget it. If I need a car moved, if I need other things to be done that I can't do, there's always someone there to help. Towards the end of 2020, I thought to myself, you know what, I don't know if I can continue with the yard hand role purely because you would need to drive the cars long term. My main goal is to learn how to sell the cars. How do I do that? I had a meeting with the management and we put a plan together, a progression plan of how I was going to progress to the sales role. I started observing the sales team and how they sold to customers, the way they interacted, the way they spoke, knowledge that they have, and lots of other skills. My first sale came to a family friend of mine in early 2021. It was very supportive and a very good feeling at that. I can still remember to this day that particular family friend put his hand out to me to shake my hand as if the deal was going to be done. I had no idea that he was happy and ready to secure the car. I put my hand out and he shook my hand and said, "Sasha, congratulations, you've sold me the car." Little did he know that that was my first sale. Since 2021, I've sold 30 cars, and that has been a good experience of knowing how to sell to customers, how to talk to customers, and many different things. The other victories that I've had are hitting the target of 12 units, which I hit in June. That was a great feeling, knowing that I was able to hit the factory target and changing the misconceptions around having a disability. Another amazing thing is the Diversity and Inclusion Council. Set the Diversity and Inclusion Council up earlier this year in 2022, and as a result, I am now a part of that. And I'm hoping to change the perceptions around disability and buying cars. Buying cars for people with disabilities isn't exactly the easiest thing to do because certain cars need modifications and quite a lot of disabled customers feel like they can't drive the cars before they buy, which I'm hoping to change. And hoping to change that by giving those people with disabilities a chance to experience the true buying process. This is just a short video to give you an idea of what it's like in the car industry with epilepsy. As far as working with epilepsy, everyone has their own mechanisms of coping, and it's a matter of finding what coping mechanism suits you and making sure that you have a supportive team in place, be it from your colleagues, your family, and your support network around you. And once you have that support mechanism in place and that support network in place, be aware that you can achieve anything you want to do. If you want to do an amazing thing globally, you can do it. If you want to work a certain amount of hours in the day just to get by, you can do that as well. Just know that if you have epilepsy, you can do anything. For the wider community, people with epilepsy don't have as many restrictions as you may think. It's a matter of finding those coping mechanisms and having an open conversation to the person that you're employing or that you're working with and seeing how they can be supported best and how you can support them best while getting the best outcome for the business that you're in. If you have any questions regarding this, please feel free to ask them in the comments below and reach out to Epilepsy Action Australia so that they can give you the right advice when it comes to employing people with epilepsy. If you have people with other disabilities, please reach out to the respective organisations and I'm sure they will give you the right advice when it comes to employing people with disabilities.